Morning. So this video is not a video lesson. This is I'm going to be going over the instructions for your nationalism project. Okay. Hopefully, any questions you have about the project from the instructions, which will be posted on Classroom, this video will answer. If it doesn't, leave a comment, shoot me an email, something like that, and I'll get it explained for you. Okay. So your nationalism project. Like I said, this is a 2.5 times test grade. Same weight as your midterm, just on this new 9 weeks. Congratulations! You've declared your independence and set out on your own to create your own country. Okay? It's now up to you to convince people to come to your country. So you're going to create a Google slide presentation. And I will create it for you. You'll just have to edit it. Okay? Just like every other assignment I give you, you'll have your own copy already made. You don't have to make a new one. Just build on what you have. Okay? Once I review the project, usually I have you present it. Okay? But with everything else going on, I can't have online students present a project. It just doesn't work. So instead, I'm going to ask you a few questions about your country. Once you post it, you have to answer the questions. Okay? And they can be anything from, tell me about your country's military, to, well, I see this, this, and this. What about this? Okay, does that make sense? Whatever I ask you, you have to answer, and that's how you get your presentation grade. Okay? Everybody with me on that? Okay. This is going to be due November 18th. Today's the 19th. You have a month. Okay? You have plenty of time to do this. Now, every year I still have 5 or 6 people take a 0 on the project, even though I give them a month to do it. Reason is, kids are just lazy sometimes. Please don't do that. Okay, a 0 on this project, your chance of passing is very low. Okay? So, you have to have at least 5 slides. The more slides, the better. Okay? First slide, of course, is your title. Make up your country name. Okay? Whether it's Parkstopia or I had someone do one on Wakanda a few years ago. As long as it is not a real country, it's fair game. Just keep things appropriate. Easy enough? So, country characteristics is your first thing. With that, you need language, culture, religious beliefs, and why you broke from your mother country. Your language and religion, you can make it up. Okay? A couple years back, I had a kid, she made up an entire language for her country, and then had the translations on one of the slides. I had a kid do a whole religion based on Cheez-Its. Okay? And you had Cheez-Its. It worked. She got 100 because she did what I asked. That's what I'm saying. You can be as creative as possible, as weird as possible if you want. Go for it. If you have a question, ask me and I'll tell you, okay, that's fine, or no, that's not quite on the right track. As far as culture goes, that's talking about like holidays, sports, music, things like that. Okay? You got economy and foreign policy. Is your country capitalist, socialist, communist, or a combination, and why? Now, you guys don't know that yet. That's what we're learning this week is those 3. Okay? So, you still got a month to do it. You're going to learn that this week. You're going to design, draw, and describe your currency, so your money. You can design it in Google Slides using like the shapes and everything. Or if you want to draw it, take a picture of it and upload it to your Google Slides, that's fine. Does that make sense? How do you trade? Who do you trade with? Do you trade tea with England or lumber with the United States? Do you not trade? Whatever. A lot of this is going to be me giving you a couple examples and saying whatever because it's up to you. Does that make sense? Are you an imperialist nation? Do you have an empire? If so, do you have colonies, protectorates, spheres of influence? Once again, that's stuff we're learning about this week. Okay, so you'll understand that by Friday. Hopefully. Government. Which three Enlightenment thinkers most influence your country? And it can be more than three. But with those, we're talking Locke, Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, Hobbes. The guys we talked about a couple weeks ago. Make sense? Bear with me? And with that, it doesn't have to be you agree with them. They can influence your country by you disagreeing with what they said. Okay? What type of leadership do you have? So what type of government? Do you have an absolute monarchy, a limited monarchy, a representative democracy, a true democracy, anarchy, a theocracy, an oligarchy, whatever? Okay? What kind of leadership do you have? Do you have a president? Do you have a queen? Prime minister? Are you liberal or conservative? According to the Congress of Vienna. Now, this is where a lot of people lose points the easiest. Do not say, my country's conservative because we love God and our guns. No. We're not talking about American politics. It's literally right here in the instructions. According to the Congress of Vienna. Okay? So if it's like the United States and people have freedom and people vote, you're liberal. If you have a king or a queen or a strong church, you're conservative. Does that make sense? With all of this, you can refer back to your notes to understand what you're talking about. Everything is right there in Classroom for you. Now, you're going to create a flag for your country. Okay? The flag is going to be due on the 4th, day after Election Day, so 2 weeks. That's a double quiz grade. The flag itself. It is that simple. You make a flag, you get it to me, you get 100. The flag has to be colored. Cannot just be black and white. Okay, it has to have some color to it. Don't make me hate myself for having to look at 100 flags.
So we can make it any way we want it.
To a point. Cannot resemble any real world flag. Okay? So you can't just take the American flag and change the colors. Okay? Can't use the rebel flag. That was a real world flag. Please, for the love of God, do not make the Nazi flag. No swastikas. I shouldn't have to say that. But I've never ceased to be surprised by some of the stuff I see with these projects. Must be school appropriate. Okay? Don't give me the American flag and replace the stars with a pot leaf.
That's not as good as these ones.
Been there. Seen it. Kid got yelled at. I think if I remember right, I wrote him up.
So that means we can't.
Don't do
put
it.
guns on
Okay?
We can't put guns on it.
I would have, the question, if you're watching, was guns on the flag. I would have to see it to explain. Because like some national flags, let's see, I don't have it up. Some of them have, I want to say Grenada, maybe. So one of the Caribbean nations has like 2 soldiers, each of them holding a rifle on their flag. Like if it's like that, that's fine. If it's a gun shooting someone, it's not. Like right here, you got the flag of Saudi Arabia that has the saber on it, has the sword. To a point, it's okay. So I'm not going to say yes, guns are fine, or no, guns are not fine. I would just have to see it. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Like I said, it must be colored. Flags are due on the 4th. Double quiz grade. Now, the more creative your project is, the better. Okay? Have fun with it. This can be a fun project or this can be a miserable project. And that is 100% up to you guys. Okay? Does that make sense? Have fun with it. I had a kid a few years back. His whole country was snakes. He had a snake air force. Okay? Literally, on his slideshow, he had pictures of fighter jets with snakes in the cockpit. It was awesome. Okay? I loved it. Because it was weird. And weird is good with this project. Okay? Like I said, I had someone do the whole project based on Cheez-Its a few years back. And what I'll do is I will upload to Classroom under this project an example. Okay, one I made a few years back. So I'll upload an example so you have that to look at and kind of get a feeling for it. Do not use my example as your project. You will get a 0. You can't fix it. Okay? I'll upload the rubric too so you know how to get 100. You'll turn them in through Classroom. Since I'm giving you a month to do it, okay? Projects are due at 11:59 on the 18th. Okay, I think the 18th is a Wednesday. I think. Should be. Either way, if it says it's late in Classroom, it's a 0. I'm giving you a month. Let me say that one more time. If this project is late, it is a 0 that will not be changed because you're getting a month to do it.
Yeah, 18th is Wednesday.
Okay, the 18th is a Wednesday. Okay? So it'd be 3 weeks from Wednesday, 4 weeks from this Wednesday, something like that. If you have any questions, email me, comment in Classroom. If you're physically in front of me, ask me. If it's a good question, I'll copy it and I'll post it so everybody else can see it. Questions are fine. I want you guys to do well on this. I don't want to sit here and look at, let's see, I got 20, I think there's 21 of you and 24 in fourth block. I don't want to sit here and look through 45 dull, boring projects. Okay? Have fun with it. Make it fun for me. Okay? This is my favorite thing to do. It's more fun when we're all physically here because then 2 days I don't have to do anything and you guys present and it's a good time, but you know, things change. I'm going to go through the rubric. I'm just going to explain how to get 100. Okay? I'm not going to go through each little step. You guys can read that and see that. To get 100 on this project, for country characteristics, you include all 4 characteristics I listed. You have a large amount of detail in describing the country. Don't say, we speak English, we celebrate Christmas and Halloween, we're Christian, and we broke from the mother country because they hate us. Okay? You hit all 4. You did what I asked. The detail's not there. That's a 2. You can get, or that would be, what is it, 4 points apiece? That's 8 points. You can get up to 16 points on each section. Okay? Detail. More detail, the better. Economy and foreign policy. You include all 4 characteristics, large amount of detail. You describe and design the currency. Okay? Government. Include all characteristics, large amount of detail. You have at least 3 Enlightenment thinkers. Liberal and conservative. Characteristics, large amount of detail. Project design. If your project shows extreme originality, like I can tell you just went for it, and it looks good, you get all the points on that section. Okay, if it's black, all black and white, and I can tell you did it in 45 minutes the night before it was due, you're not going to get all the points down there. Make sense? And if you're physically in front of me, you know I give you a lot of time in class every time you're in front of me to work on stuff. You got plenty of options to do this. And then presentation, like I said, you give well thought out answers to the questions on Classroom. If I ask you to tell me you're military and you say, well, we got an army, and that's it. That's not well thought out. You know what I mean? We all good there? Any questions? Okay. If you have questions, you can ask me whenever. If you guys have questions, leave me a comment or something, email, so I can explain it to you. I will post this video with the instructions, with the example, with the rubric on Classroom. That way, if you guys have a question, you're like, well, I can't remember what he said, you can go back and watch this and see me explain the instructions again. Okay? Does it make sense to everybody? Are we all good? Okay.